Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. 4 topics for this video. First, Russia ignores the International Criminal Court's arrest warrant for the president of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, and Putin will travel without being afraid to a country that is a signatory of the ICC next week. So let's see if that particular country will arrest Putin. I think not. That's the first topic. The second topic, Serbia makes deal with France. It's going to buy $3 billion worth of airplanes, fighter jets, from France. Remember, the weasel Macron, the legitimate leader of France, president, he's visiting Serbia at this time. And let's see, is Serbia throwing Russia under a bus or it's looking for its own interests? Well, we're going to discuss that one. Next one. Ukraine screws the European Union, or at least certain countries from the European Union. They are going to shut off the Druzhba pipeline. Oil transit via Druzhba from Russia will be closed by the Ukrainians, and we have at least 3 countries that will be affected. One of them is a staunch supporter of Ukraine. Well, that's what friends are for. In the last article and the topic, we find out how a former, I don't want to say European colony, French colony will own Europe, will be in charge of Europe. Why? Natural resources. So why would you as a country, as my cousin said in one of our videos we made together, why would you let yourself as Europe to the win whatever of another country because you what? Is this the neo-colonialism, which is they will do it nevertheless? We don't have to have military over there, but they will do it. Why? We just make sure that the guys in charge are the right people to give us their resources willingly. We don't have to go over there like in Algeria, for instance, hint, to go over there and occupy Algeria. No. We're going to make sure that we're going to occupy it through the political means, like the United States of America occupied Europe. And the Americans are even further than that. They allowed, the Europeans went even further. They allowed the American troops to be on their territory. Why? To defend ourselves. It's like you ask the neighbor to come over and, live with you in here to defend you from a bad dude over there instead of you arming yourself. No, we're going to get that guy being in charge of my defense. Can you do this? Would you do this? Maybe with your brother, a sister, father, son, but with a person, another entity with its own interest that could change? It's idiotic. All right, let's go to another idiotic. Neocolonialism, my friends. The America is involved in neocolonialism right now. Has been for a while. Let's go to the first article, and that's not it. This is it. Business Insider. Putin will visit Mongolia, a country that's supposed to arrest him when he lands, but it probably won't. An expert says. You don't have to be an expert to realize that won't happen. And that would be the first step, because Russia did not want to put South Africa or Brazil in a situation where, they rock the boat too much at this point. The keyword at this point. So therefore, Putin did not travel over there. He sent his emissaries, which was Lavrov. Now he's going to go to Mongolia, which is closer, and Mongolia is really going to fall into the it is under Russian and Chinese influence, more Russian influence, and is going to stay there for some time due to its geopolitical location. So the expert says, next one. Putin to visit ICC member Mongolia next week. Here he is. Why do you think I won't go over there? Watch me. All right, Russian President Vladimir Putin plans to visit Mongolia on September 3rd. The Kremlin announced on August 29. The Kremlin announcement claimed that Putin will visit Mongolia, and I'm quoting, at the invitation Mongolian President Parabib Parabub. The leaders will celebrate the 85th anniversary of the battles of Khalkhin Gol, in which Soviet and Mongolian forces jointly defeated Japanese troops. Now, Japanese troops? Yeah. Remember? The Japanese made a little incursion in the Soviet Union. They tried to take over because that's what they were supposed to open a second front, so the Soviets, will just divert into. But then after that, they took most of their troops from the eastern part of Soviet Union and moved them to the western part to liberate and to push back the Wehrmacht. That's what it was. Without that, and why? Because the Japanese were too focused on getting their resources and occupying in Southeast Asia. That's why they were occupied. And the bad guy, the most evil guy, Adolf, told them, do that so you keep these troops here so we can go get the resources from the Ural Mountains area, and occupied Moscow. That would not have been the end, but once you get the Ural, the factories where the Soviets had their factories, if you take over that, they're done. Dagger in the heart. But the Japanese were like, yeah. Yeah means no in Japanese. Anyway, and they focused on their own thing. Therefore, that's what it was. So remember, was it the Mongolian president that was tortured and killed by the Soviet commissars? Read about that one. You can find out who the Soviet commissars were. Right? It was not Stalin himself. It was people in his administration or whatever, henchmen, bad people, evil people, right? And their subordinates. Anyway, so that's what Putin gonna do. Next, and the last article on this subject, Ukrainska Pravda. Kremlin is not afraid of Putin's arrest during his visit to Mongolia. Friday, August 30th, 2024. There's Peskov. Now, obviously, you want to put all kind of crazy pictures coming from Ukrainska Pravda to denigrate and make people think, who the hell, this is crazy, isn't he? All right. Dmitry Peskov, the Russian leader's press secretary. No, he is the spokesperson, as these like to mention. White House is the presidential spokesperson, the president's office. All right, it's not his, is the office. He said that the Kremlin is not concerned about Russian ruler, not president, Vladimir Putin's trip to Mongolia, which recognizes the jurisdiction of the International Criminal Court. When asked whether there had been any negotiations with the Mongolian authorities regarding the arrest warrant for Putin issued by the ICC, Peskov replied, "Of course, all aspects of the visit were carefully prepared." He also stressed that the Kremlin has, and I'm quoting, an excellent dialogue with our friends from Mongolia. And I'm quoting, Putin is going to Mongolia under Chinese securities guarantees, said Stanislav Belkovsky, a former Kremlin political advisor and now a critic of the Russian government. And I'm quoting, Mongolia will not turn against China, even if it does not want to argue with the US. Well, all right. We'll see. If he does not want. Next is this article coming from Associated Press. Serbia makes a $3 billion deal to buy 12 French warplanes in a shift away from Russia. You see, every issue could be interpreted in at least two ways. So yes, these guys, obviously, their interest is to portray that Serbia is just leaving Russia, like many others should do. But that's one view on things. The other one is, no, Serbia wants to diversify its weapons, the military, their defense capabilities. That's the second one. The third one, no, actually the Serbs play as a spy. They get the technology, give it to the Russians, and the Russians have the French technology. That's at least three. But you pick it according to, if you're a weasel, to your interest. If you're not a weasel, you will consider these three and more. Because there's more, not only the three options, but they pick this one, Associated Press. That's why the media lies, forms opinions, shifts opinion, shapes opinions, manufactures opinion by ignoring, or how do you call it, evidence. Just by omission. That's what it is. They're not lying, they're lying by omission. Why? They don't take other options. They don't consider them, only this, and they put it as a, see, it's a shift. It's not a could be, It doesn't say signals or could be. No, that's what it is. It is in a shift away from Russia. Why, you can't do both things? Buy from the Russians and then from the French? I guess not. And here they are. Macron, look at this guy. And he is still the president-elect of France. And Vucic. Serbian president, Alexander, now he's Serbian president. He's not a strong man. He's not a... Why? Because he's, these guys think, coming along. On Thursday, announced a $3 billion deal to buy 12 French warplanes in a move that shifts his country away from its dependence on Russian arms. Dependence? Okay, well, good, excellent. Well, this is a man of peace right there. But remember, if you ask the Americans about the French warplanes, they say they suck. Everything that's French sucks, actually, if you ask the Americans. So then there's no shift whatsoever. Why? But it is. No, the Russian planes also suck. The Chinese planes also suck. The German planes, the British planes, depending on the situation. That means only ours don't suck. Buy one, get one premium price, which is 3 times inflated price. All right, my friends, let's go to the next article. Let's see how the friends stab the friends in the back. It's an internal fight in Europe, orchestrated by the United States of America through the European Union, which is Brussels, weasels, and through Ukraine, to have the dissenting voices like Slovakia and Hungary do come around and do their bidding. Is not? They say you are a, that's how the Americans say, you are an independent sovereign country, but you will do what I tell you. I will force you through different ways. No, not by the negotiations, no, by creating problems to you. And this is one of them. Why? Because the European Union decided by itself to, don't buy any more oil or gas from Russia and buy it from other countries at a premium price. But hey, we have some saviors, former colonies, they're going to help, or one in particular, until Putin gets in. Ukraine to halt Russian oil transit via Druzhba pipeline. Druzhba, friendship. Okay, thank you. The transit of Russian oil through the Druzhba pipeline will cease across Ukrainian territory starting January 2025. I suspect that it will happen earlier. In addition to a halt in gas transit. That's it, done. Mikhailo Podolyak, the round-headed foreign minister of Ukraine, says in an interview, is Podolyak? I think he's Podolyak, the round-head advisor. No, this is the advisor. He's not the round-head. The other one is Kuleba. My bad. Kuleba is the round-head. And I'm quoting, in addition to gas, the Druzhba pipeline will also cease operations starting 1st of January 2025. Why? The order was received. Podolyak noted that some European countries, such as Slovakia and Czechia, which is Czechoslovakia former, and Hungary, have been receiving Russian oil through this pipeline. However, under European resolution. What's that? We make our own laws. You can't do it because we tell you so. Ordered by whom? I suspect by Al Capone. These countries must diversify their oil supplies and end transit through Ukraine. All right, that's the way it is. This also applies to gas, Podolyak added. Certain contracted volumes will end on January 1st, 2025. However, he mentioned that if European countries need Kazakh or Azerbaijani gas, Ukraine is ready to provide transit for it. So these are the guys who beg some European countries to support them. And if you don't support me, I will hurt you. But we're friends. There's no friendship. That's interest. Now you can say, well, that's Ukrainian interest. No, it's not Ukrainian interest. It's the guys in charge of Ukraine's interest. And that's not Zelensky Stein or Zmihal Stein or Yermak Stein or Umerov, blah, blah, blah. He's not a Stein. Next and the last article. Here it is. Russia Today. Hands on the valve. How this former French colony could now control Europe. Yeah, why would you want that? Because you control their political system and the military. The military will make sure, the Algerian military will make sure that the political system, the politicians will not be toppled by the people, by the Algerians, if they smell a rat. That's how it works. And if they're gonna try a little revolution, like let's say Maidan revolution or color revolution so-called, the military will intervene and fuck them up. That's how you, and this is neo-colonialism. And the country of Algeria will willingly do business with Europe, all right, because free market. But on the other hand, with the Druzhba, no. All right, we'll see. What happens when the Russians will take over the Algerian military? In a little spy scheme, what do you think will happen? A little, I don't know, regime change coming from the Westerns? Yeah, exactly what happened right now in Africa, certain countries in Africa. Algiers is now playing an increasingly important role in ensuring EU energy security and is itself moving towards economic sovereignty. So how they will do it? With a pipeline. With a pipeline. In the spring of 2022, at the height of the Russian-Ukraine conflict, the EU began thinking about ordered abandoning Russian gas supplies and reducing energy consumption as much as possible. EU countries began looking elsewhere, and one of the places they focused their attention was Algeria. Now, 2 years later, Algeria is the largest pipeline gas supplier to EU and continues to occupy the leading position in Africa in natural gas production and exports. Well, I suspect someone will blow up the pipes once they're in place, and once they really do it, and then it's going to be immediately will know it was the Russians. Overnight, the investigation will be concluded. Overnight, we're going to know it's the Russians. Got it? But Nord Stream 1, Nord Stream 2, it was just a Ukrainian guy with a boat, with a woman, 6 guys on a yacht, they and they did it. I mean, if you're, whatever, believe that if you want. All right. It says here, but its position in a number of international issues is now posing a threat to supplies to Europe, and the countries of the European Mediterranean have to compromise in their foreign policy in order not to lose such an important source. So they will bend over, will be flexible. So the human rights and other things that some countries might have a little bit of say about it will be all ignored in order to what? Values. If the values is selective, or your values are selective, there are no values. If your justice is selective, that means apply one rule here, but the same rule you don't apply it in a similar situation, you're not just at all. You can't be sometime. In this case, that's the whole purpose of being a virtuous person. Doing the whatever virtues you have in mind. Let's say one of your virtues is telling the truth, a truth teller. You can't just sometimes telling the truth and sometimes not. That means your virtue is very low level. I mean, you can claim you're a virtuous person and point your fingers, but reality demonstrates something else. In early June, Spanish energy company announced that Algeria has been Spain's largest gas supplier for 6 months in a row. According to Gas, Algeria exported a total of 10 to Spain. Russia and United States come next, 22%. Respectively, this proportion has generally remained stable since the beginning of the year. This is about Spain. Imports of American LNG to Spain dropped to 3rd place, halving compared to the spring of 2023. American LNG is 3 to 4 times more expensive than the Russian gas, just so you know. Algeria remains the most important gas supplier for the whole of Europe, especially the Mediterranean part. In 2023, it overtook Russia to become the 2nd largest supplier of pipeline gas to the EU after Norway. Maybe the Americans will blow that up too. No, they didn't. They will not. Unless they want to strangle. This is how capitalism works. Right? You just eliminate competition with the help of your military and your politicians, making laws banning the competition. And that's it. You've problem solved. You don't have to think, and you have to employ all kind of ways of having a better product, to advertise the product, to really have a price quality, and to eliminate competition through giving a better product at a maybe cheaper price. No. It's too hard. It's easier just to pack. Some military is right here. We're going to take care of the factories or the pipelines of the competition. Mind you, the army of the country. And then the politicians that you helped get elected with some campaign donations, legal, they will make sure they will vote certain, sanctions and order the military to obey. Got it? So it's not a big deal. It's very easy. It's very easy. All right, my friends, that's about it. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Maybe when the Americans are going to lose LNG gas supplies to Europe, they will probably go and take care of Algeria as well. And then what are the Europeans going to do it? Just going to put some, I don't know, some cool water over their ass after they were deep by the Americans, like they did with Nord Stream 1, Nord Stream 2 pipelines. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.